Interaction, and thanks for the organizers to give me the opportunity to give this talk over here. I'm sure everyone's hungry, waiting for lunch, but please bear with me for a few more minutes. So today I would like to talk about my research on the spider silk um, and the industrial application of this based on the basic science. So the spider silks are a very amazing material that suppresses many of the mechanical properties of the existing material that we use in our society. So to give some examples, these are obviously the protein-based materials. So these are regenerative material as well as biodegradable material, which has many advantages over oil-based plastics like the nylons and polyester. I think many of you, including myself, is probably wearing right now. And these spider silks tend to be very strong as well. It might not be very intuitive, but the spider silks are usually more than 4 times stronger than steel if you consider it in terms of the density of the material. The toughness of the material, which in material science is the combination of the strength and the elasticity, is one of the highest among any existing material that we know to date. So to make use of this material, the toughness, the property is very important. And just to give one example, excuse me, I have to switch into the video. So hope it works. Not quite. Not quite. Well, okay. So it was a video of a thought experiment where you spin an artificial spider silk of 1 centimeter in diameter across 500 meters. Those artificial spider silk web would be able to catch airplane which flies into it, because it has the property of the strength as well as the elasticity, and this elasticity absorbs the energy of objects flying into this huge gigantic web. So that airplane wouldn't be hurt, but also be kept in place. But we've also had a video of actual experiments comparing carbon fiber, nylon, and spider silk to compare the strength to hold on to the weight, which probably doesn't work. But no, it doesn't seem to be working, but it's okay. Excuse me? The page button? Space. Okay. Never mind. So let me go back to my presentation and wait. Anyway, so our student in our institute has started up a company called Spiber, which actually makes these spider silks in production in biotechnology-based ways. So we don't use spiders to produce these spider silks, but we introduce these spider silk genes into bacteria, and we use bacteria to ferment and produce a lot of these spider silks. And these spider silk can be used into thread and also other different materials like these plastic kind of the resin kind of material as well. And we have a huge factory operating right now in Thailand where they produce hundreds of tons of these materials. So there are a lot of products coming out. So one of the latest line is these nice scarf from Burberry. It's quite accessible everywhere, and it's being applied in many different fields, including apparel and also car parts, as you can see with the Lexus car seat. But in order to fully understand the basics about the spider silks, we have to actually look at the natural spiders. And you might not be obvious about this, but spiders actually produce many different kinds of silk. Even a single spider can produce up to 7 different types of silks. And one of the most common spider silk that you probably see is the one that they're dangling on, which is called the drag line. And this is probably the one that Spider-Man uses to jump around the buildings, but it's one of the stronger ones where the y-axis represent the strength and the x-axis represent the elasticity, but it goes more into the strength side, so it's more stiff and it's strong, but a little bit elastic. But the other threads that they use in the old web, the spirals in the old webs, are the capture thread, which are much more elastic to absorb the energy of the prey that fly into the old webs. So they don't have that much of a strength, but they are highly elastic comparable to rubber or synthetic rubber kind of materials, where they extend up to several 100% of the elasticity. So these different types of silks, very interestingly, are monophyletic. So the whoops, it's running for myself. So the ancestor of spiders has evolved on Earth about 380 million years ago, but the initial spider probably produced only a single silk. But in the course of evolution, these genes have made it into different duplicated paralogs, and these paralogs made into these specified functions of like the strength and the elasticity, and some of them have more stickiness, like a glue kind of properties. And so if we can backtrack this history by analyzing many of the existing species of spiders and comparing the sequences and match those with the existing properties of the spider silks, we can probably identify the links between the sequence motifs and the actual mechanical properties. And to do this, we have wanted to do a large kind of experiment. So we wrote a grant to collect 1,000 spiders and to obtain the sequence for those 1,000 spiders. And also we silk from individual spiders the silks so that we can test the mechanical properties for those. And one huge challenge in analyzing spider silk is that their genes are very huge compared to typical eukaryotic genes. So the typical eukaryotic genes are about 300 to 500 amino acids in length. But these spider silk genes are typically more than 3,000. Some even go up to like 5,000 amino acids in length. And as you can see, these are composed of highly repetitive elements, which is not very suitable for short-read sequencing. So we have to also incorporate. So in our project, we heavily relied on the nanopore sequencing to actually cover these repeat and get the full length of these sequences. And another problem is to catch 1,000 spiders. You cannot only get them in Japan. So obviously we have to travel all around the world, and we had to have collaborative partners to have compliance with the access benefit sharing of the network protocol. So we have made partners around the world. We literally went to every single continent, obviously except for Antarctica, but there's no spiders in Antarctica, so it's not a problem. But eventually, the obtained spiders were all sequenced in my lab, and all of the mechanical properties were measured in the cage nematodes lab in Britain. And every single spider was identified by the arachnologist Akio Tanikawa. So all of the data is taken in a single team, and so we don't have much bias in terms of the measurement and those things. And all of this data is now accumulated in public in a database called the Spider Silcom database, where you can find the URL over here. All of the data is freely available, and you can see a very vast amount of the mechanical property space among these 1,000 spiders. We actually called 1,098, and there are 11,000 spider silk related genes and spider silk mechanical properties for just a little short of 500 species. And the data is also available in RDF, so it's ready to be matched with other integrated databases. But with this database, we now have the link between some of the sequences as well as the mechanical properties, and you can extract motifs. This is basically done by very simple linear regression, but you can obtain positively correlating motifs as well as the negatively correlating motifs. And this video was the one I really wanted to show, but one of the key problems in making use of spider silks in industrial setting is the property called the supercontraction. And because the name suggests a super, it really contracts so much. It actually, so in this video, this guy soaks this spider silk, artificial spider silk with cloth in the water bath, and it immediately shrinks into about only 50% of the size. So if you want to make use of spider silk in the industrial setting and make clothes out of it and sell them, if you sell the clothes for an adult, if you wash it one time, you can only use it for your children, and that wouldn't be so desirable. So you wanted to get rid of this property of supercontraction by eliminating the motifs contributing to this. And to do this, we have extracted the motifs, as I have shown in the previous slide, by mostly linear regression and correlation. But we suggest replacement amino acid candidates, and we also tested the candidates by molecular dynamics. We use the material study to do this. And then we got feasible patterns whereby the motifs which are strongly correlating, the GP and QQ motifs, are eliminated and transferred into other feasible letters. And then the modified silk is now not shrinking after washing. So the original one shrinks to about half a size, but the modified form safely evades this supercontraction. So it's now feasible to make spider silk-based clothes in the products. But obviously, nowadays, we can use some more advanced techniques. So to do this, we're now using actually generative AI. So here we use Progen 2 to produce different types of spider silk-based sequences. We screen this with the combination of the multiple motifs that we've identified through the database analysis, and we can actually pick out sequences which are feasible to enhance the strength or other mechanical properties as well. But we've also gone through to actually make these silks and test if the predictions were correct. And I first obviously show the champion data where the motifs which are predicted to give a positive effect on the tensile strength. So the original protein is BP1, which is shown in red, and the motif replacement into for this GP after polyalanine is converted into SGP. GQ is converted to SGPQ in the top part, and which enhances clearly enhances the strength. And the negative effect is probably less obvious from the stress strain curve, but if you look at the box plot, it's obviously decreasing the tensile strength. So these two nicely became the property that was protected through the computational analysis. But if we list the entire results for all of the mechanical properties, the properties relating to the elasticity, the strain of break, and also the toughness wasn't really nicely predictable. This is probably due to the current silking process, the artificial silking process in the lab. But the other properties like crystallinity or supercontraction had behaved as predicted. So I think partly our prediction method is working so that it could be eventually used in the actual industrial settings. So this is my last slide, but let me just give a brief introduction to the poster by Yasuha, who also did a lot of the mechanical testing for this study. And he's also talking about the silk, but by the pseudoscorpion silk, which is also very cool. So thanks for your attention.
Thank you very much for the interesting talk. So any questions from audience? Please.
It's okay.
Thank you so much for the very interesting talk. It's so interesting. I have 3 questions, if I may. First, is it understood why the spider genome is so large compared to other creatures? Second, is it understood sort of what the common ancestor for spider silk is? Because obviously it doesn't evolve de novo. What was sort of the precursor to it? And third, how long do you think it will be before we're using spider silk in building construction?
Okay, so I think you mean the spider silk genes, not the genome. The genome size is also very large. It's about 3 gigabases, but it's quite typical in that clade of arthropods. And the reason for the size of the silk is, I think it's required for the material to be sustainable, because if you have only a short segment, you have a very small repetitive region, which actually contributes to the mechanical strength, and you have to have combined molecules to actually make the fiber, and you need that length in between. And the second question was the evolution, but the evolution is probably de novo in the spider's case. So we can look at the outgroups, including the mites and also the pseudoscorpion that Yasuha is giving the poster, but they all have different sequences. So there is some convergence, but at least they're not homologs. So we can think about those genes to be independently evolving in different lineages. So some other silks, like the Bombyx mori silk, is also a convergent evolution, and they are evolving in different segments of different arthropods. And to build buildings, we have to be making, maybe not in the scale of hundreds of tons, but maybe like kilotons and so on. But that might be feasible, but we probably have to build much larger factory than the one that we have in Thailand now. So I don't know, maybe in several decades, hopefully.